Abraham and Sarah were very old when their son Isaac was born. God had kept his promise to give Abraham a son. But God wanted to make sure he was the most important thing in Abraham's life. So he decided to test Abraham to see if he would remain faithful. "Abraham," God said. "Here I am," Abraham answered. God instructed Abraham to take Isaac to the mountain and sacrifice him. A sacrifice is anything of value brought to God as a way to show obedience, love, thanksgiving, or the need for forgiveness. During Old Testament times, a sacrifice usually involved killing an animal. This time, God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac instead. Abraham obeyed God. He got up early the next morning and left with Isaac, 2 servants, and a donkey carrying supplies. It took 3 days to get to the mountain where God wanted him to make the sacrifice. Abraham asked his servants to stay with the donkey, and he and Isaac headed up the mountain with the supplies for the sacrifice. Isaac noticed something was missing. "My father," he said, "where is the lamb for the offering?" Abraham answered, "God himself will provide the lamb." When they got to the place God had directed them, Abraham built an altar and placed the wood on top. He placed Isaac on the wood, and just as Abraham was about to sacrifice Isaac, an angel called out, "Abraham, Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy or do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son from me." Abraham looked up and saw a ram trapped by its horns in the bushes. He offered the ram instead of Isaac to God. Abraham named the place, "The Lord will provide." The angel spoke to Abraham again, reminding him that God would remain true to the covenant that the two shared, that God promised to bless Abraham, making his family as numerous as all the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashores. He promised victory over Abraham's enemies and blessing to all the earth because Abraham had obeyed. Abraham showed his faith in God when he was willing to sacrifice Isaac. Isaac also showed he was ready to do what his father said. This is a clear picture of God, who was willing to sacrifice his only son, and of Jesus, who was willing to do what was necessary for God's plan of salvation. Isaac's life was spared because God provided a substitute. We need a perfect sacrifice as our substitute for sin, and God provided a perfect sacrifice in his Son, Jesus Christ.